you go to my head. You go to my head.
Hello. In this video, we're going to introduce you to a really beautiful standard called You Go to My Head by Fred Coots. And you can find versions of this sung by the most amazing jazz musicians that we have, past and present. It's a very popular standard, and deservedly so. I'm going to teach you the tune and introduce you to some of the chord progressions that you can improvise over, and Mia will sing you a version of the tune. We're going to learn it at a faster speed, but she will sing it as a slow ballad. Because we're in lockdown, I can't play this con la voce, which means to follow the voice. So we will actually be doing it to a click. But within that, we will be able to be as free as we can. It will also mean that if you want to add parts when you work with this on Soundtrap, you will find that easier to do. So the chords actually follow quite a recognizable pattern for people who've been singing for a bit and know about things like 2-5-1s. So we start in the major. We're doing this in C. But the second phrase immediately moves modulating to the E flat. Then we have another 2-5-1, which takes us back to the key chord, but in a minor. And then another 2-5-1, which still has that sort of minor feel to it, and then surprisingly ends on the major. And then you're back to start again. Okay, so each phrase is roughly the same length, apart from the first one, which has a smaller pickup just of one note. The other phrases have a long pickup, and so the phrase has an energy where you're journeying to the end of the phrase, so the intensity resolves at the end of the phrase. We start with an octave. So if you want to use one of our other videos to practice some intervals, just to get your voice ready, turn this off and do that now. I will sing the phrase and then you can repeat it. You go to my head. 1, 2, 3. And you linger like a haunting refrain. And I find you spinning round in your brain. Like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. Let's do it again. You go to my head. And you linger like a haunting refrain. And I find you spinning round in my brain. Like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. Okay, so now we're going to do the B section. This moves up to the fourth. So from C, we're going to make that into a dominant and then go to the F. Which is very, very common. It's just moving through a diminished chord back to the 1. Then we dance around with some 2-5s. To move us back into our original key of C major. However, these 2-5s, you find that you sing one note over the top of the whole thing. So even though everyone else is moving around underneath you, you just stick where you are. Okay, so let's learn this B section. So that note is a 6. And it just allows you to just lean into it. There's a lot of leaning in this song, as Mia will explain later. The thrill of the thought that it might give a thought to my plea. So you've got a little chromatic descending phrase there. To my plea, cast a spell over me. So that's an arpeggio, but it's going down to the 6, which gives it that really nice flavour. So we'll do the whole of those 4 bars. The thrill of the thought that it might give a thought to my plea, cast a spell over me. Now we've got the one note. So I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that it never can be? Okay. So I say to myself, get a hold of yourself. Can't you see that it never can be? And you'll notice that that's all triplets at the moment, but obviously you'll move that around massively once you sing it on your own. Then you go back to the verse, which we do not need to know, except that right at the end, you, instead of going down, you go up in order to move to the outro section, which is a sort of extra section which we don't always get in one of these songs, so it's a bit of a treat. So that note is a fantastic note. It is a sharp 11. So it's another leaning point. So I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head. So we just do that again. It's another octave. Oh, I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't a ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. You go to my head.
You go to my head and you linger like a haunting refrain, and I find you spinning round in my brain like the bubbles in a glass of champagne. You go to my head like a sip of sparkling burgundy brew, and I find the very mention of you like the kicker in a julep or two. The thrill of the thought that you might give a thought to my plea, cast a spell over me. So I say to myself, this never can be. You go to my head with your smile that makes my temperature rise, like a summer with 1,000 Julys. You intoxicate my soul with your eyes, but I'm certain that this heart of mine hasn't the ghost of a chance in this crazy romance. But you go to my head. You go to my head. That this heart of mine